Happy Motivational Monday. In today's video, we'll be talking about 7 different elements of self-care. Yes, I said 7 different elements of self-care. One way of self-care. There's literally like many of them, but today we'll just only be focused on 7 main elements that I like to focus on when it comes to my self-care. These things can kind of help you with just like dealing with stress, or if you're dealing with a bad day, or just overall just help you with your day-to-day functioning. So if you're interested in learning about these 7 different elements of self-care, then keep on watching. So number 1 is physical self-care. Physical self-care is the process of how you take care of your physical body. It includes getting enough sleep, making sure you eat the right food, or making sure you limit the amount of toxins that you put into your body. This includes like any type of physical activity that you do with your body. Overall, just the physical things that you do for yourself. Some ways that you can cater to your physical self-care include going to the gym or working out at home, doing some yoga, making sure you're eating your fruits and veggies, or if you're like me, like making a smoothie, going for a walk or for a run or for a jog, doing daily stretches, doing like a facial mask, taking a warm or hot shower, doing yourself like a manicure or pedicure, or going like to the nail shop to get one done, and making sure that you get at least, for some this may be a stretch, but at least making sure you get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep on a day-to-day basis. The next element of self-care that we have is spiritual self-care. Self-care is the process of connecting outside of ourselves. It's the process of getting connected and getting in tune with your soul, or nourishing and feeding your soul. Spiritual self-care can obviously look different for some of everybody. So if you're not a Christian or a believer in Christ like myself, then obviously your spiritual self-care is going to look a little bit different than what mine look like. But there are also different kind of ways that you can still cater to your spiritual self-care when it doesn't relate to Christianity, shall I say. Some examples of how you can cater to your spiritual self-care include prayer, reading your word, your Bible, or like a daily devotional. I highly recommend the YouVersion devotional app. This is one that I've been using for years now, and you can go on there and it's basically got like a breakdown of different kind of devotionals based on whatever it is that you're dealing with. You name it, they got it. Listening to gospel or any type of uplifting music on a day-to-day basis, even if that's not gospel, just listening to some type of positive inspirational music on a day-to-day basis that kind of gets you up in spirits, and it kind of cleanses your soul and makes your soul feel happy. Another thing that you can do is maybe like meditating, just finding your intentions, having a quiet space, and just clearing your mind, or just taking a moment just to be still, breathe, and just meditate and just focus on whatever it is that you choose to do. The church, with the pandemic, that's a little bit harder now, but there is so many churches that are doing all of their services online now. And if you miss it on Sunday morning, you can always play it back in the middle of the week depending on your schedule and your availability. One that I highly recommend is Transformational Church. I love Transformational Church with Pastor Mike Todd. I've been listening and watching and following his ministry for the past like 2 to 3 years, and I love what he does and what he's doing for the world. And if you're in a city where your churches are not shut down, then definitely just touring yourself around and going around to a couple of different churches until you find the right church home. Another thing that you can do to kind of cater to your spiritual self-care is getting into nature. I love taking my shoes off and being able to just feel my feet on the ground and getting connected with the earth and just breathing in the fresh air and just appreciating nature. Another way that you can cater to your spiritual self-care is include maybe just giving back and finding a cause, giving back to a cause that you believe in. Spiritual self-care is all about internal fulfillment. It's all about feeding your soul and doing things that make you feel joy and make you feel happy. So whatever that cause may be, but finding a cause and taking some time out just to donate your time, or just donate some extra money that you may have. Another way that you can cater to your spiritual self-care may be some people that like to light sage. I've never tried sage, but I've heard a lot of people say that by lighting sage you can like cleanse your air. I believe you can find like stuff like sage at like spiritual stores, and then maybe like at I feel like I've seen them at maybe like Five Below or something like that. But I know when it comes to sage, you want to be mindful about where you get it from, because not all sage is good sage. And finally, simply just smile. Again, spiritual self-care, it's all about internal gratification and just having gratitude and just being happy and present in the moment. So again, just take some time and just smile, express gratitude out loud, verbalize the things that you're grateful for and the things that you're thankful for. And overall, those are ways that you can cater to your spiritual self. Number 3 is intellectual self-care. This type of self-care includes anything that you do do that stimulates, challenges, or cultivates your mind. It expands your knowledge, and overall it just allows you to grow. Some examples and type of things that you can do to cater to your intellectual self-care includes reading a book, maybe listening to a podcast of something that you're interested in, watching a documentary based on something that you're interested in learning about, or something that may have happened in history, trying to learn a new skill, maybe taking a new class, learning to do something different, maybe that's something with your hands, basically just a chance to learn something different, whatever that may be. Doing things like crossword puzzles, or playing games like Scrabble or Ruzzle on your phone, or maybe downloading like a dictionary app on your phone where every day you get like a new word of the day and you can learn new words. Something that I like to do anytime I hear a word that I'm like unfamiliar with, I always like spell it out or kind of sound it out, and then I put it into my notes, and then I'll go back and basically I'll look up that word, look up the definition of that word, just because I love to advance my vocabulary and I love to learn new things. Overall, you just want to continue to put things into your brain, even if you're no longer in school. I feel like it's super important to continue to just learn. You never want to stop your brain from learning, because as you stop using the brain cells, that's when you have problems with like memory and all of those different things. So you want to make sure you constantly are learning. You want to always make sure you just feeding your brain with new information, new things, and always growing and expanding your knowledge. Number 4 is emotional or mental self-care. Emotional and mental self-care is about coming more in tune with your emotional and your mental state of mind. It's about checking in with yourself and being more mindful about how you feel and about your emotions and about your triggers and your thoughts and the things that make you happy or the things that make you sad or the things that make you depressed. Just overall being more mindful about what's going on internally and being able to come up with ways to work through those thoughts and those feelings. Some ideas can include journaling, doing things that make you happy, whether that be drawing or painting or singing or dancing, whatever that may look like for yourself. Just doing something that you enjoy, doing like daily affirmations like I am beautiful, I am strong, I am powerful, saying those things on a day-to-day basis, finding yourself and programming positive thoughts into your mind. Of course you're gonna have bad days, and of course you're gonna have hard times, but when you're in that state of mind, you're able to talk yourself out of it. Just like your day-to-day affirmations or mantras that you tell yourself on a regular to make you feel more empowered, like you can take on anything. Another thing that I recommend is doing like body scans. So this is something that I like to do, like whether I'm in a car, I'm in the shower, I like to take a minute just to stop and just ask myself, Jalea, how are you feeling? And that may sound crazy or it may sound weird, but sometimes you want to just take a moment just to be present within yourself and ask yourself, how are you feeling? What do you need? What is it that you're needing right now? And just ask yourself those questions. And another thing you may do if you're someone like me is learning your love language. I know that my love language is physical touch. So something that's really helpful for me when it comes to my mental and my emotional self-care is just getting a hug and getting physical touch from somebody, rather that be from my mom or my dog or my boyfriend, whoever that may be, and just getting a nice tight hug. So that makes me feel so much better. And finally, crying. I know, y'all, I am a big crybaby, but I highly recommend crying. I feel like we spend so much time trying to be strong and trying to be motto woman and superwoman that we don't allow our emotions to flow. I think it's so healthy to just release and to cry and to let those emotions out and not blocking those things on the inside of us. So it's really helpful, the toxins that you release from your body, when you allow yourself to cry and to let go. Sounds crazy, but yes, cry, y'all. Y'all can cry. It's okay to cry. Strong girls, big girls cry too. Next element we have is social self-care. Social self-care is the process of getting outside of yourself and getting outside into the world. Of course, this looks different for everybody because not everyone is an extrovert. Me, myself, is kind of like an introvert. So obviously this is going to look a whole lot different for like an extrovert because our comfortability changes depending on our social situations. But there's plenty of ways that you can tap into your social self-care. Some different ways include spending time with friends, spending time with family, going out into your community, maybe going to some local places that you've always wanted to visit, maybe going to a concert or like a comedy show. Obviously with the pandemic going on, this is a lot harder, but there's plenty of places that's still doing like small gatherings. They do limit like the ticket sales and stuff like that, but maybe if you're like one of the first few people to get those tickets, you can find local places to go to get outside of your regular in-home setting. Another thing I recommend is maybe starting a family family or a friend group chat, just being able to communicate with the people that you care about and the people that you love. Another thing is positive social media interaction. We live in a social world where social media pretty much takes up everything, but you want to be mindful about your intake of how much time you spend on social media. So sometimes I do have to do cleanses where I won't post, I won't scroll, and I'll just take a break from social media. So just making sure you have positive social media intake when it comes to the people that you follow and the people that you respond to. Just being mindful about the things that may be positive and the things that may be negative. Not following too many people that you start idolizing their lives, and maybe finding a group of people who resonates and relates more to your niche or the things that you're interested in. A few other things may include date nights. Whether you're single or in a relationship, I highly recommend date nights and solo date nights. You don't have to always be with somebody, but plan solo date nights just to go people watch, you know, maybe just get some reservations just for yourself and just people watch and eat dinner with yourself. Or if you have a significant other, definitely planning date nights with them and making that like a weekly or bi-weekly thing, kind of depending on your budget. And finally, I have planning vacation or going on vacations. Again, with the pandemic, that's a whole lot harder, but there are so many safe ways that you can travel, whether that's just a road trip to a place that's maybe 2 or 3 hours away from home. Definitely looking around your city, looking around the surrounding cities and states around where you stay at, and definitely just traveling outside of just your regular element is something that I highly recommend. Getting some gas and some snacks for the car and just going and exploring. Next, we have practical or personal self-care. So this form of self-care is as simple as it sounds. Yes, practical, personal self-care. This form of self-care is basically the things that you do on a day-to-day basis for yourself that help you stay up to speed and functioning successfully. Examples of ways that you can prioritize your personal, your practical self-care includes maybe having like a daily schedule, having like some type of form of calendar or thing that you do to like plan out dates and events and stuff like that to keep yourself a little bit more organized. Scheduling yourself like cleaning days and laundry days. Basically just coming up with some sort of routine or some sort of cleaning routine. And speaking of routines, another thing that you can do is have like a morning routine or a night routine or a face routine. Just having some sort of routine that helps you feel more organized. Another thing may include having like a daily to-do list. So nighttime, I like to write out just a bullet list of a couple of things that I want to get done, accomplish the next day. A good feeling of being able to check things off your to-do list because it just makes you feel accomplished and it makes you feel like you had like a productive day. I believe that implementing some of these things into your practical self-care routine will help you overall feel more productive and feel like you can accomplish, literally you can take on the world. Finally, number 7, sensory self-care. Sensory self-care involves your senses, your smell, your sight, your taste, your feelings, the things that you hear. Sensory self-care involves all of those senses. Your sensory self-care includes creating like a playlist in your phone that's based on the things that you like to listen to depending on your mood. Another thing may include your feelings. So getting like a massage or just anything that when it comes to feeling, cuddling up inside of a warm fuzzy blanket. I know when it comes to cuddling up in a warm fuzzy blanket for myself, I feel like at peace. Like in that moment, I feel peace. Drinking water or maybe eating like your favorite meal, running yourself a hot bubble bath with all of your favorite fragrances and bubbles and maybe like a bath bomb to make your bath more feminine and more tasteful. Maybe lighting your favorite candle or essential oils and have that scent going through your house. I know when it comes to lighting certain scents, I definitely feel peace depending on the scent that I'm smelling. So that pretty much wraps it up for 7 different elements of self-care. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, bye.